Gigi. Oh, she's there. Gigi. Levy Rogers. There's more to the thing. Oh, Squishmallow Squad. Hello to you. Rima Ministries. I've never had it. Cigarette? Very, it's very good for you. Smoking is good. They recommend it in the fucking thing, you know? You know, it says it can kill you on the box. It's just like an April Fool's thing. It's actually recommended by doctors, like reputed doctors and reputation shit. Yeah. You're 6? Oh, 6. Your name is Levy Rogers. Signal him the joke. Signal him. It's inappropriate. You're inappropriate. I don't give a fuck. You don't like it? I don't like anything. So, I mean, say hi, oh, Squishmallow Squad. Hello. I like that name, Squishmallow Squad. You look like a mellow guy. Squishy mellow guy. Like a marshmallow. Levy Rogers. Who's number 1? Was King? King? That's a fucking crown thing. How can you be named? How can your name's Levy Rogers and you're 6? I don't think that's true. You can't be 6 and be called Levy Rogers. Yeah, I think you missed a 0 in your age. I think we're like 60. I'll say hi. Fuck, I'll do the thing. Hi, fuck you. I don't know how this shit works. 2 seconds. That writes something. Alright, well, I say hi back now. I'm ending the poll. End the poll. Okay, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna ask a question. It's a capital. Of Canada. Alright. Capital of Canada. Alright, people. What is the capital of Canada? Gotta answer right now. There's no one watching. Oh my god. Everyone left. That was a great question. Everybody leaves. I'll have another one. Alright, I have this question that people need to answer. What is the worst job in the world? I'll tell you. Alright. People need to answer, what is the worst job in the world? I have a very good, if you don't know, I'll tell you. Alright. Does anyone know? Down below. Alright, I know there's 3 people watching. To answer my question, what is the worst job in the world? And then I'll answer when you give me your idea. Well, let me tell you this. The worst job in the world is being a cop. This is the fucking worst job in the world you can ever have, okay? Not only are you a fucking grimy piece of shit that's absolutely useless, the only thing they do, as far as we know, as far as the rest of the population knows, a cop, the only thing a cop does is oppress and kill minorities and choke them, you know, by pure pleasure. That's what they do, you know. They've been, you know, publicly shown on TV doing so. Not only that, they you know, they don't serve any fucking purpose. They're just obnoxious, you know, pieces of empty, like hollow meat, you know. And they go to the gym, you know. They think they're serving as some kind of a purpose, but they're not. They're wearing this fucking cheap uniform with a fucking vest that protects them. Doesn't protect them at all, man. It just makes them look even douchier. I don't know how that's possible. And then another thing they do is they think they know you when they're talking to you. They don't know shit. They don't even know. They barely know how to read. You know. The story of cops. I'll tell you the story of most cops. You know, they're very stupid people. Okay. Not only that, you know, they try to marry a very loose woman. You know, because I don't know if you remember sex ed. You know they put the fucking condom on the banana, and then they show you a really weird picture. I'll remember this my whole life because I don't know anybody who has this condition, but they show you like a micro penis, okay? And I don't know anyone who has a micro penis, you know, but I figured it out. You know, if you go to the Oxford Dictionary and you look for law enforcement officer, you'll see that they are the only people that are subject to this type of disease of having like a crumb of a dick, and everything falls into place when you think about it. Then that's the reason why they seek a loose woman that's, you know, white and racist like they are, you know, and so they find her, and then she doesn't feel anything anyway, so they blame it on that instead of, you know, facing the truth, maybe, you know, buying a penis pump, you know, trying something, but instead, they're narcissist douchebags, you know, what can you expect? And so they continue their thing. They, you know, ass rape women, you know, kill minorities. That's what they do. But I figured out something, okay? Let me tell you this. I figured out what's even worse than being a fucking waste of human life, which is being a cop. It's something worse than that. It's just a bit worse. It's people that try to impersonate cops. These are wannabe cops, you know? That's even worse. Who would even want to be that, you know? You know, it's not a fucking, it's not, you didn't win any medal, you know? It's the total opposite of that, you know? You're really just dignifying your whole existence by being, you know, a dumb,
piece of hollow meat, and because you're a wannabe cop, you know, you like did something, whatever, you're like a sex offender or whatnot, you like stole like a bar of candy, and so you can't get into the academy, and so because you know, not only you have all the fucking you have all the you know the ambition of what a cop would normally have before getting into the fucking training. You know, and I don't know how you train to kill minorities. I mean, it's horrible. And ass rape women. It's horrible. I don't know who wants to do that. They don't do it for the money. That's what I know. They do it for their pride. And that's fucked up. Because you know, when your pride is, you know, when that's your pride. You know, you got to be a retard. I mean, there's no other. It can't be anything else. You know, you have to be a fucking dumb retard. And people that are you know cop impersonators, they're like they're like the unexplained retard. You know, the retards that you know people don't study, don't take the time to single out, and so they like what they do. They can't get a normal cop, officer, asshole job. They have to go to the Ford shop, you know, get a fucking gay car, a gay Ford car, put a bunch of gay lights on their car, you know, their Ford car, you know, and then like they use noises, you know, and they like write at something that looks like a cop shop, whatnot, and then they put like a fake sheriff's badge, you know, and just walk around, you know. Clearly, they, you know, people that impersonate cops also have micro penises, you know. They don't, you know, they're like they're like the derivative, you know, of the original micro penis, which is a cop that you know does the full thing. But you know, that's even worse because you can't even do the worst thing that no one wants to do, and they don't do it for the money. You know, if you do the 1 week training that it takes to become like a city bus driver, you know, you get paid way more money than the entry level cop. You know, and there's always the exception. Like when a gay guy becomes really gay and starts like because they start to come out of the closet. They suck a couple cocks, but then they some of them they leap forward into like becoming super super gay. Having sex like 9 times a night. Getting like jerked off a bunch of taking a bunch of cock everywhere, and so the equivalent of that to if your job is you you go an echelon and an echelon further, and you become like a fucking you know you were like a retard fucking officer. Now you become like a retard like investigator investigating fucking investigating like people that steal sodas, you know and fucking you know pounding fist after fist into fucking minorities. That's what they do, and they take pride in that. It's weird people take pride in shit like that. But you got to consider the mental capacity of the person. We're talking about people that are actually mentally disabled. And it's crazy that in the society we live in, they give mentally disabled people, they give them guns. You should take the gun away from the mental guy, but they give them guns, you know. And I have a kind of a conspiracy theory about that, because they have micro penises, right? And so sometimes even if the woman they have like loose, like middling attractive like white trash women as wives, and then sometimes they want to show off whatever they had a good day at the job, they maybe murdered a child. I don't know. It's a good day for a fuck cop. But then they want to have sex with their wife, and she's a loose woman, doesn't feel anything. So they bring their gun home, they lube it in baby oil, they start shoving it, in the fucking girl's fucking, they're shoving it as hard as they can, And I wouldn't be surprised because these people are very, like below dumb. Dumb is an understatement. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys, would fuck pull, a couple of these guys pull the trigger, fuck shoot the woman in the cunt, everything blows, you know. But then again, if she's pregnant, instead of giving birth to a little fucking retard have you ever seen a cop, a police officer's offspring? And I would never say this about any child. I have a kid myself, but I saw like a police officer's child, and I wanted to push him in fire. It's the only time in my life I ever felt like this type of aggressiveness, course through my body. And so, you know, and so yeah, that's my story of today. Have a great day.